Many of you have been asking me to make a video about how to become a business owner in Australia, how to work for yourself. So in this video, we're going to talk about the steps you need to follow to starting a business in Australia and key things you need to know so the whole process goes smoothly. So if you're interested, keep watching. Now, the first thing that you need to do when it comes to starting a business is choosing what you want to do, what's your niche, that is what services or products you're going to be offering. The best thing for this is to find out what you're good at, what are your skills, what's your background and experience, and what resources do you have in terms of financial and human resources. Another thing that you need to do is to analyze the market. Is there a gap that you can fill when it comes to providing a service or a product? Is there something that could be way better than what's currently being offered? Now, after you've analyzed the market and you found something, whether it is a service or product that you want to offer, and again, a product can be something tangible, can be something digital, or it can be a service. For example, if you want to become a private tutor, become a Spanish teacher. So now once this is established, the next thing that you need to do is to choose your business structure. When we talk about business structure, this is going to define your legal and tax obligations here in Australia. And usually you have 4 options. The first one is to register as a sole trader. This means that you're personally responsible for all aspects of your business, including any debts. This is the easiest and cheapest option to set up. You just need an ABN, which we're going to talk about that. In terms of tax obligations as well, it's very, very simple, especially when it comes to loading your tax returns or paying your PAYG. But again, the drawback is that if you need to get a loan, for example, you're personally liable for that debt. So these are different things to keep in mind. Now, the second option that you have is a partnership, and this involves 2 or more people sharing profits, responsibilities, and liabilities. Now, the next option is to set up a company, and a company is basically a separate legal entity that provides limited liability to the owner, but comes with more compliance requirements and costs. This is especially for those people who perhaps started as sole traders and now they want to scale their business, they want to get loans, and they're going to go into debt, or if you want to trademark your business, this is another option that you have. And tax as well. So in this instance, you may need to hire an accountant, a lawyer, and set up your whole company, your systems, procedures, and how you're going to fulfill your tax obligations. It's a bit more complex than being a sole trader. And the last option is to create a trust. A trust basically holds assets for the benefit of others who are the beneficiaries. This is way more complex and generally requires a trustee. So in terms of which structure to choose, the best thing that you can do is to get advice from an accountant or a lawyer so they can help you understand what's the ideal structure for you according to your circumstances, your needs, your product offerings, etc. But if you're just starting out and, for example, you want to become a private tutor or set up an agency, usually we all start as sole traders. This is the easiest and cheapest option. Now, the second step to become a business owner here in Australia is to set up your business name. If you don't want to trade under your personal name, you must register a business name with ASIC. This process is going to ensure that no one else operates under the same name. In order to register your business name, you can use the ASIC website. They're going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to do it. It's very, very simple. Otherwise, again, you can just go by your name, especially if you are a sole trader. Okay, another very, very important step that you need to do if you want to register your business is to get an ABN. This is an Australian business number. An ABN identifies your business and is required for issuing invoices, claiming GST credits, and registering for GST. You can apply for an ABN online very, very easily. An ABN, apart from being basically essential for everything that's taxes and issuing invoices, GST, makes your business appear more legitimate to clients or suppliers. So it is important to have one. You'll also need your TFN, your tax file number. I have many videos where I talk about tax file number. This is something that you need to do the moment you come to Australia. And again, it's super easy to get. You'll also need to provide details in terms of your business structure. So what have you decided to do, whether it is sole trading or a company, etc. Now, another step when it comes to starting a business is to register for GST, which means Goods and Services Tax. But GST registration is mandatory only if your annual turnover meets or exceeds 75,000 Australian dollars per year. So if your annual turnover is less than that, then you don't need to register for GST. It's not mandatory. Now, GST is a 10% tax added to most goods and services here in Australia, and you can register register for GST through the ABR when applying for an ABN, or later if your turnover increases. And once registered, you'll need to lodge business activity statements on a regular basis to report and pay GST. So these are all things that you're going to have to keep track of. Another very important step is setting up your finances. So you need to separate your personal and business finances to simplify bookkeeping and tax reporting. The first thing is to open a dedicated business bank account. Many banks offer tailored individual business accounts, so have a look around. Sometimes it's worth investing in accounting software like Xero to manage invoices, expenses, and your payroll, but this is not necessary. Sometimes you can just have a simple spreadsheet and that's enough. It depends on the size of your business and how much you're willing to manage and how organized you are. And another thing is that you should consider hiring an accountant or a bookkeeper to save time and ensure compliance. Now, when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping, another very important step when starting a business is to understand your tax obligations. So when you're working as an employee, your employer usually pays tax on your behalf. But when you're working as a sole trader or when you're self-employed, you're responsible for paying taxes. You'll need to calculate and pay your own taxes directly with the ATO, the Australian Taxation Office. So the first thing that you need to do is to familiarize yourself with income tax rates, deductions, and offsets. This is something that takes a bit of time to get used to. That's why sometimes it's good hiring an accountant to help you with that. But otherwise, you can do it yourself. It's not that hard because there are many tax benefits or tax deductions for business owners that you do need to familiarize yourself with. For example, if you work from home or if you buy a car that's specific for business, or if you buy machinery or specific technology, or even trips. If you are an occupational therapist and you're working on your own, then your car costs may be tax deductible. So that's something that you need to look into. Again, please talk to a tax accountant or check the ATO website for more information. Another thing that you'll need to do as a business owner is to pay your taxes through quarterly PAYG installments, if required. PAYG means pay as you go. PAYG basically is installments, amounts of money that you pay to the ATO as regular prepayments of the expected tax of your business and investment income. So when it comes to loading your tax return, instead of paying all your tax at once, you usually pay the PAYG installments, which breaks it down. And at the end of the financial year, which concludes on the 30th of June, once you load your tax return, you'll get tax back if you paid more PAYG. This is a bit more manageable as opposed to paying a massive lump sum at the end of the financial year. Another thing very, very important to do is to keep records of all your expenses, of all your business expenses. Yeah, this is going to simplify your tax and help you with getting any tax deductions for your business. So keep records, keep receipts of everything. If you have to buy a laptop for your business, keep the receipt of that, and again, consult with the tax accountant if you have any doubts. Otherwise, check the ATO website or even get in touch with the ATO because they have agents that may help you answer any queries. Yeah. Now, another step that you may need to follow when it comes to starting a business, and this depends on the industry and service/product that you're providing, is to obtain necessary licenses and permits. So for example, if you're a food business, you may need health and safety permits. Or if you're a building designer, you may need a building designer registration. Or if you're an electrician, you need registration as well. So become familiar with all the necessary licenses and permits that you are going to need depending on the business that you're going to specialize in. Also, something to know is that registrations as well and licenses and permits may vary from state to state or even local councils. So again, get familiar with that and do your own due diligence. And please get all these licenses and permits before starting your business. That's very, very important. Now, another step that you may want to follow when starting a business is organizing insurance. This is basically to protect your business against any risks. For some professions and services, insurance is mandatory. For example, if you are a builder or if you work in the healthcare industry. So again, do your own due diligence and do a bit of research and find out what applies to you. Now, another very important thing is, of course, to market your business. And as we said before starting the business, you should be identifying what the problem is and how you can solve it, and understand whether there is a gap in the market that you can fulfill and provide value, whether it is a new product that doesn't exist yet, or whether it is an existing product that you can make even better. Now, when it comes to marketing your business, there are many options. For example, doing a business plan, basically understanding what's your product offering, what value you're going to provide, your communication channels, marketing channels, partnerships, forecasting your potential business revenue and estimated profit, your profit margins. So all these things are factors that you need to consider. And another thing that you need to do when marketing your business is, of course, creating a website, a social media presence that's relevant to your industry. or attending networking events, or even doing collaborations with other people within your same industry. And marketing your business as well, you can use Facebook advertising, Google advertising, and there are many different avenues to put your business out there and start getting your brand known. And of course, another step is to stay compliant, because compliance ensures that your business operates within legal boundaries, and understand your regulations in terms of work health and safety, fair trading laws, and employment laws if you hire staff. Your best resource for this is the Fair Work website. There you're going to find information on minimum wages in Australia and all the different factors that you need to consider when looking at hiring staff, whether it is permanent employees, full-time, casual, contractors, etc. Some industries, for example, healthcare, or if you even want to become a migration agent, may require not only registration and professional certifications, but also keeping up to date with yearly professional development courses. Again, go to your industry's association website and do your own due diligence in order to make sure that there are no disruptions to your business operations. And again, even if you are an international person, someone who's not an Australian resident or citizen, you can still get an ABN. But of course, you're going to need a valid visa that gives you work rights. And if you're currently employed, but you want a second employment, please make sure you talk to your employer to see what are your legal requirements in that regard. So check the conditions of your visa and make sure again that you stay compliant. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe so I can keep bringing more content for you. I'll see you next time. Bye.